Greetings, viewers, and welcome back to Just Short of Fantastic. Happy July. Real talk, I wasn't going to do a vlog this month because I just wasn't inspired. And if I don't have something really motivating to talk about, I don't want to waste your time or my time. So I just wasn't going to do a vlog. But then inspiration struck. So here we are. At the Pride Poetry Night, the lovely host asked me after I'd read one of my poems about queer joy in the media that we consume. They asked what recommendations I had for shows or movies that demonstrated queer joy. And so I thought, well, it's July. We're halfway through the year. This would be a perfect time to do my not smart goal Netflix to watch check-in. And I could do that by highlighting all of the best or most thought-provoking queer TV shows, movies, and comedy specials that I have watched so far this year. So that's what we're going to do today. Let's get started. First up, we have some absolutely outstanding live action TV series. So the first one I watched is called Smiley, and it is a Spanish language show about a wrong number voicemail message that leads Bruno and Alex on a whirlwind opposites attract romance, and it is set in Barcelona, Spain. This one was super cute, super joyful. I absolutely adored it. Next up is Bonding, and this one has surprise woman who plays Janet in The Good Place. Was not expecting her. I don't actually remember the actress's name, but she's in a couple of episodes, so that was a really nice surprise. So this one is about a heterosexual cis woman who is a dominatrix to pay for grad school, and she hires her gay best friend from high school to be her assistant. And along the way, they both learn a lot of things about relationships and consent as they navigate the kink community. So I thought this one was really, really good to explore that space. Next up is Hollywood, and this one is really chef's kiss. I saw the trailer and I thought, oh, this looks interesting. I did not expect it to be as queer at its core as it turned out to be, so that was a really, really nice surprise. So Hollywood is this fantastical revisionist history of a movie studio in 1940s Hollywood that has the opportunity to push gay and feminist rights as well as racial equality, and it is a phenomenal feel-good story with a star-studded cast. What if Hollywood was not run by the patriarchy, actually? The final one on my list for live action TV series is called Glamorous. I don't remember how this one got on my to watch list because on its face, it doesn't seem like something I would particularly be interested in. Basically, the best way that I can describe Glamorous to fellow millennials is it's Gen Z Devil Wears Prada, but the second assistant, Marco, played by Miss Benny, actually wants to be there, like is fully invested in the makeup and fashion industry. And the CEO of the luxury brand makeup company that he works for, run by Madeline Addison, is actually not evil. Not to say that Miranda Priestley was evil, but you know. Madeline Addison, played by the wonderful Kim Cattrall, actually hires Marco from his makeup counter at the mall because she's looking for inspiration, and she realizes that Marco can give that to her and her dying company. So this show absolutely blew me away. It is the absolute definition of queer joy. Speaking of subscribing to the makeup and fashion industry, I have an honorable mention for this category before we move on from live action TV series, and that is Halston. Ewan McGregor delivers a powerful performance in this series about real life fashion mogul Halston. I wouldn't call this show exactly joyful, and that's why it's only an honorable mention, but it does demonstrate real gay history and the malignment of queer creativity as capitalism rose up through the 70s and 80s. So it's definitely worth a watch. But be careful, it is quite a roller coaster emotionally. You've been warned. Speaking of emotional roller coasters, moving on to the movie category, first up we have The Boys in the Band. This updated adaptation movie version of the 1968 play of the same name is an absolute tour de force, and everyone should watch it. Queer, straight, questioning, this is cinema. And then on the opposite side of the spectrum to The Boys in the Band is Alex Strangelove, which is a quirky high school coming of age, coming out rom-com story in which the protagonist, Alex, is caught between loyalty to his longtime girlfriend and a new crush he's developing on an older boy. This one didn't really turn out the way I had expected based on the trailer, but I still adored it, and I think that stories like this are very important for people, especially young people, to see. And then swerving again, we have Good Grief, which is a film starring Daniel Levy, who plays a gay man who is mourning the sudden death of his husband and learning to move forward after that loss. Rounding out the movie category, we have Rustin, which is a biopic of Bayard Rustin, an out gay man who was a huge influence on the civil rights movement of the 50s and 60s, and he was the driving force behind the giant civil rights March on Washington in 1963. This movie was really eye-opening for me. I'd never heard of Bayard Rustin before, and I think it is a critical, much-needed representation for Black and queer voices. Next up is the animation category, and animation is near and dear to my heart, so of course we have some animated series in here. First off, we have The Hollow, which I was not expecting to have queer representation in, so that was a delightful surprise. The Hollow is about 3 teenagers who wake up in a strange environment and they have to work together to figure out that they are in a video game and they have to escape. So I was delighted to find that one of the teenagers in the group is openly gay and another teenager in the group is the adopted daughter of 2 gay men. So amazing representation. Moving into something that is definitely not appropriate for children, possibly not even teenagers, is Captain Laserhawk, a Blood Dragon remix, in which the gay protagonist, Dolph Laserhawk, leads a ragtag group of individuals against the corrupt technocracy in which they live. And then speaking of anti-heroes fighting back against corruption, we have Super Drags, which is absolutely adults only. Super Drags is about 3 gay men who transform Sailor Moon style into drag queens, and they have to fight against antagonistic forces that are preying on the queer community. Like I said, this one is very raunchy and absolutely adults only. And of course I have an honorable mention for this category, and that is Masters of the Universe, Revelation and Revolution. This is the He-Man reboot that we've gotten from Kevin Smith, and it's not queer. Like, it seems like all the characters are straight and more or less cisgendered, but like, it is giving such queer vibes that it's practically mandatory viewing. And last but certainly not least is our comedy specials category. And I did watch a few comedy specials this year, and most of them, or if not all of them, were by queer comics. I've just got one on this list, keep it short and sweet, and that is Hannah Gadsby's Gender Agenda. This is a delightful surprise. In this one, Hannah Gadsby hosts some up-and-coming queer comics who talk about their various experiences through a lens of comedy. It's a bit hit or miss, Some things might resonate more with you than others, but they were all really talented, really fascinating individuals, and I highly recommend this one if you are a fan of comedy and comedy specials. So get out there and support. And that's it. That is my Netflix queer roundup and my check-in for halfway through the year of my not smart goal. Not sure what August holds for us all, but until then, stay just short of fantastic.